Several of you have been asking me to share my thoughts on the Night City Wire stream, and so I'm making this video to go over it and tell you what I think. I'll try to be relatively brief. The whole thing is nearly half an hour long, and I'm not going to analyze every single frame. Instead, I'll focus on the things I feel strongly about. Alright, so we open with a few trailer shots. We are then greeted by the United Kingdom's head of communication. We learn that media outlets all over the world are getting their hands on the game, which makes me sad I'm not part of the media. And then we get to the brand new trailer, which mostly consists of very short, quick cuts from various moments in the game, which we later learn are from the intro, and overall it looks good. There are some scenes that definitely look better than what I remember. Perhaps they use better graphics settings, or ray tracing, or have simply improved the way the game looks. Keanu Reeves looks good, Dexter looks good, we see some nice smoke, there are some potentially motion captured, well animated women, and of course, no children or infants allowed in trash bins. One thing I was worried about is that the game may not look or sound so good without cutscenes. As we've known for a while, there will be pretty much no cutscenes in Cyberpunk. Everything will be done within the gameplay engine. All of the conversations and story moments will essentially look the same way that the gameplay looks. But after seeing some of the footage from the trailer, if the game looks and sounds as good or even better than this, it could definitely work.
How about we go over the plan?
She welcomes Pavel, one of the developers. They talk about Night City's districts, and specifically the Badlands, which is the outermost area with lots of exploration and side quests. We can drive around it both in first person and in third person. However, as far as I understand, the bulk of the gameplay is still first person exclusive, which I must say I'm not against. I know some people really dislike the idea, and of course I'm not against an optional third person perspective, but if we are not going to have cutscenes, you won't be able to immerse yourself that good without a first-person perspective. If you are in third person, you need cutscenes, such as The Witcher 3 for example. Otherwise, you get into the Dragon Age Inquisition situation, where a lot of the out-of-cutscene conversations look and sound really bad.
Have you seen anything useful?
No, sadly. I do not have the look of one of the elven servants, or I might well be invisible. I wonder how masked men live their lives without ever seeing that servants...
Anyway, that's probably a topic for another video. What else do we have? They show this gang, the purpose of which is to protect sex workers from abuse. Which is interesting. I wonder if they're actually criminals with a specific moral code, or more like vigilantes. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And also, why do they keep saying the people at home, for the people at home? Isn't everyone who's watching this at home anyway? Like, there's no live audience?
But I'd really like for you to give the people at home some more information about, love to talk about a little bit more for the people at home. Please tell the people at home, who is this giant metal monster?
Adam Smasher.
Next up, we get a fairly zoomed in announcement of the Cyberpunk anime show, which is coming up in about 2 years on Netflix. Okay, finally we get to the new stuff, brain dancing. Now this is a new feature that we see for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, and it's basically this new type of media in the future where people carry these devices in their heads or something, so with them they can record their experiences and let others relive them. Apparently in the world of Cyberpunk this thing is quite common, but as far as I understand, the new development is the, how do they call it? Sensory detachment or something?
I'll sever the link to the BD Roller's sensory array.
Where not only can you relive a person's memories, but also dig deeper, investigate their surroundings, examining the audio and video streams separately, interfacing with data from other cyber implants and whatnot. I assume this is something that regular people in the world do not have access to, since even our own main character acts surprised when he sees it happen.
Unbelievable. Seriously, like what's happening right next to me.
Anyway, in short, It appears to be Cyberpunk's version of The Witcher senses, except much more complex and potentially more interesting. Now, sadly, they didn't show how the system works in actual quests. Instead, they walked us over what is clearly the tutorial for braindancing. And even the way the tutorial was played is kind of slow and methodical, which isn't bad, but I'm not really sure how representative this is of how the actual braindance gameplay looks and feels when the real quests begin. So that remains to be seen. Another question I have is, how are we going to access the braindance data? In The Witcher you can just activate your senses, but here, will it be provided by the quest givers, or you'll have to find it yourself? I suppose that will be part of the quests themselves, who knows? It could even be optional, where if you don't do it, you don't discover as many clues and stuff. It's interesting now that I think about it. I'd love to see some more of it in the future episodes. As my cat is trying to break something. Okay, what else? Let's talk about her for a moment. I like her, specifically how she's animated. Given, once again, that this is not a cutscene, she has a surprisingly well animated face. She looks at you, looks around, sighs, narrows her eyes questioningly when you're trying to figure out the right words to use, or something. In short, it's good stuff. It's exactly what I feared may be missing in Cyberpunk. I can only hope this is present throughout the whole game, because this is most likely part of the main quest, and it could be that the side quests aren't as well animated, but I hope that's not the case. And if you think I worry too much, let me remind you of Mass Effect Andromeda. They showed some animations from the Cora, was her name Cora? Scenes from her romance that are motion captured, and they looked pretty good. And then we got to the rest of the game.
My father's dead. He made me his successor.
Alec is dead.
So, yeah, I just have bad experiences. Anyway, let's get to what probably got me excited the most, and it's the closing statements by the developers. They talked about how they really tried to make every quest interesting, make them meaningful to the main story, the world around you, or the characters. They specifically said that there is no filler in the game, and that they were inspired by their work on the quests of The Witcher 3.
10, 20, 30, 40...
And if that is true, I think we may get our hands on something really good 5 months from now. And so, I think that's all I had for this episode. If you guys have any thoughts on the matter, let me know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like, and if not, well, I still thank you for watching. Alright, until the next one, stay tuned and be good.